People-pleasing is at the heart of codependency. What is people-pleasing? People-pleasers go to great lengths to avoid displeasing others to the point of giving up their own needs, wants, desires, even to the point of compromising their values. This behavior can become very damaging to self-worth and to our relationships. What are some of the motives or underlying things that drive people-pleasing? Well, we want to be liked. Don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Maybe you do it to avoid conflict. Seeking approval, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. There are so many things that drive people-pleasing. You feel responsible for other people's happiness. And when I become responsible for someone else's happiness, it definitely makes me unhappy. I've done a lot of work to overcome people-pleasing. Have I mastered it yet? No. I still tend to be over-accommodating, think of the other person. I'm very empathetic, and so I can do that. But I've learned to do some things to stop this destructive behavior because the person it hurts the most is myself. And how does it hurt us? Well, the way that I know, or I could tell you that you're people-pleasing is if you don't do what someone else wants you to do, you feel selfish or guilty. And if you do what someone else wants you to do and you don't want to do it, you feel resentful and taken advantage of. And that's what happens. People do and will take advantage of you. They will use you. People pleasers tend to be friends with takers because they're givers. And over time, you become angry and resentful, and you feel taken advantage of and walked all over, and you feel abused. And actually, it's your responsibility to not do this people-pleasing. Some of the root things that cause people-pleasing is you don't have a strong, developed sense of self. You have no boundaries or weak boundaries. And then you don't like conflict. Man, I would avoid conflict at all cost. And there's one price too high to pay to avoid conflict, and that's with my self-respect. And I did it over and over again. And it affected my self-esteem. It affected my self-worth, the confidence I would have in myself. And I didn't trust myself. And so when I began to work on this area of my life, so how do you change people-pleasing behavior? Well, you can do several things to at least low the roar of people-pleasing. Now, for me personally, it's not eradicated. I don't think it ever will be eradicated. I had to accept that I was a people pleaser, and I had to become aware of what that behavior looked like. And then I could begin to address the issues, to develop a sense of self. What do I like? What do I not like? What do I want? What are my desires and dreams? Not based on what the other person wanted or thought of me, but on what I wanted and thought of me. And a good tool I use is remove everyone else out of the picture. And what do I want? And what do I like? And what do I desire? And what are my dreams? The second thing to do is to learn how to set boundaries. And this is really hard for someone that's codependent and has this people-pleasing behavior. It is so hard to set a boundary. I have to learn how to do that for myself. Setting boundaries can really be hard for someone that's codependent and is a people pleaser. I have to learn how to do that. I can read a book. I can watch some YouTube videos on boundaries. And I have to remember, it is not selfish to set a boundary. A boundary is what defines who I am, what I'll tolerate, what I won't. And it's like a muscle. The more you learn to use boundaries, the stronger it gets. And then I have to learn a little bit about conflict resolution, because my main issue with people pleasing was avoiding conflict. So I had to learn about conflict resolution, because conflict's a part of life. And, you know, people aren't gonna like me. I have to realize that not everybody's gonna like me. You know, people pleasing is rooted in manipulation and control. If I think that I can control another person's emotions, whether they get angry, how they think, then I must have a lot of power. And that's what I was trying to do with people pleasing. Walking on eggshells, liking what they liked. All of those behaviors keeps us trapped in this vicious cycle. And then the resentment, and then you get bitter. And it cycles into some very destructive behavior. So overcome that people-pleasing behavior. Develop a sense of self. Set boundaries. Grow your self-esteem. Work on your self-worth and your confidence, and that inner knowing that what you like, what you don't like, what you want. To know yourself. It goes back to that, what I say. I'm going to say it, if I have to, in every video. The most important relationship that you can have is the relationship with yourself. If you develop that, then you know when to say yes and when to say no. When you say yes and you don't really want to do it, you're going to be resentful. And if you want to be happy, the person that you need to please is yourself. And it's not selfish. If you value what I share here, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Maybe share this with somebody that you know that needs to hear what I have to say. Email me. Leave a comment. What's the one thing that you struggle with in the area of people pleasing? You know, when we care about somebody, we want to please that person. And that is okay. But when it comes to the point that you are giving up pieces of yourself, then it's not healthy anymore. If you really want to know about what I do here, I do one-on-one coaching. And I also have some ebooks on my website for sale. You can check that out. The link's below. And most importantly, remember to be you on purpose.